Alright, welcome to my breakdown on how to get the master speed killing time at Kezalam of under 2 minutes. I don't know if any of you have already gone for this and struggled as much as I have, but I think this is secretly a Grandmaster speed timer in disguise. That 7-second death animation at the end is just brutal. I tried this with ranged, with magic, and even with hybrid to no avail, but I saw a better player than myself come up with a Necromancy rotation, so I've taken inspiration from that and adapted a little bit of it to meet my skill level. Quick notes on the gear: I'll be using a Ripper Demon Familiar, mostly for the passive effect. Mine does have scrolls in it, but I don't think they even affect Kezalam. A Calgarian wouldn't be helpful, as I'll be on the Equilibrium aura. I'm going to be using my best Necromancy gear with the Scripture of Jas. This skill did feel to me like it relied on getting one Jas book proc each phase, so definitely still a good element of RNG there. I have a quiver with Hydrix bolts and a main hand crossbow to use Gricko for some extra adrenaline. I also have my tier 95 magic dual wield weapons and an extra Necromancy offhand, as I will be doing a 0-tick Soulfire 2 times in this fight. I was previously trying this with just the main hand Soulfire, and it might still be winnable with that, but the difference is pretty noticeable when doing a proper 0-tick. To quickly explain what a 0-tick Soulfire is, while doing Necromancy, you could equip both of your magic weapons and cast a Soulfire spec, then switch back to Necromancy weapons without losing conjures. The only catch is that you can't switch back to the same gear in the same tick, so you'll need a different offhand for this. You may have seen some people who have a dyed tier 95 Soulbound Lantern, but I don't have one of those, so I'm just using my tier 90 Flanking Lantern. You'll know you've successfully 0-ticked your spec if your conjures are still alive when you re-equip your Necromancy weapons. And to demonstrate that, I'll just go to the wards dummies, summon my conjures, do one ability, then 2 ticks later, or at the end of the global cooldown, I'll equip my magic dual wields. I'll press Soulfire spec, and all in the same tick, I'll re-equip my Necromancy weapons, just ensuring that the offhand is a different one. Now that we know how to do the 0-tick, let's go ahead and look at the kill. I'm going to start by pre-death marking both pillars and building some stacks on them. Normally you could pre-build stacks at wars, but entering the Sanctum will clear all of your stacks. That's not a problem though, as we can just run around the perimeter of the Kezalam room and build on the pillars without being spotted or starting the fight early. Pre-applying Deathmark on both of the pillars will also save us 2 global cooldowns worth of time in the fight overall. Maybe it's a bit cheesy, but you'll see in a handful of the world record videos people building off of these pillars, and a lot of the master or grandmaster times can be achieved by copying and modifying the world record strats to meet your skill level, so I don't feel too badly about using this tech. I will mention that the better players rot that I'm piggybacking off of here did not need to do this, but again, I'm just demonstrating how I got mine done, and any time save is welcome in my book. Once you have your stacks, use Invoke Death, Conjure Army, Life Transfer, Command Ghost, Split Soul, then Command Skeleton. Surge into Kezalam and use Bloat to start, then Volley, followed by Soul Sap. Now use Death Skulls, and here is where you'll want to do that 0-tick Soulfire spec. If that's not doable for you, just do it with your wand and forget about the offhands altogether. When I was attempting this without the 0-tick and just using the wand, I felt like the damage difference was about 10 to 15,000 HP, so up to you if that's going to be worth it. After your 0-tick Soulfire, use another Soul Sap and then a tier 95 weapon spec. Auto attack, Soul Sap, and do another volley here. Having 3 or 4 souls is fine. It's not too reliant on Zorgoth's ring procs. Use Freedom, and then kill the Crystal Prison with a Soul Sap and Touch of Death. Hopefully your conjures are also in a position that they might be able to help you clear this as well. Once you're out of the prison, use Threads of Fate and Soul Sap. Ideally, you'd get up to 5 souls, and then you can phase the boss with any 1 or 2 abilities. To kill the first pillar, we'll use Command Skeleton, 5-stack Volley, and then 1 Necrosis ability, either Finger or Touch of Death. Then use a supercharged auto attack. Do another basic ability to kill the pillar if you need to, and once it's dead, make 100% sure that you extend your conjures. This is very important. Target Kezalam again, and then use Bloat and 2 basics to build back up to 100 adrenaline. You could also command your skeleton before going into Living Death now. Now we'll do our Living Death, and this is mostly going to be a normal Living Death, where you do Touch, then Skulls, spam Necrosis, and aim to get 3 Death Skulls off within the duration of your Living Death. The only notes I'll share are that you want to play around your Zorgoth's ring procs and your adrenaline a little bit. We do want to use Bloat during this Living Death, and we do want to end this phase with 5 soul stacks. So if you have to use a couple of soul saps instead of auto attacks, that's fine. If you need a little bit more adrenaline before or after your Bloat, just use your main hand crossbow and do a Hydrix Gricko. I got a Relentless proc in here, which certainly helped, but conceptually, those are all the targets you want to hit during this Living Death. 3 Death Skulls, 1 Bloat, and end with 5 souls. Otherwise, just blast away with Necrosis. I'm trying to end the phase with a Divert here as well. The closer you are to 100% adrenaline at the end of the second pillar, the better. Kezalam should be phased now, so to kill the second pillar, we'll command our skeleton, use 5-stack volley, and since I had some extra necrosis here, I did a Finger of Death, then a couple of basics. While you're killing the pillar, it can be a good time to apply Disruption Shield and Vengeance. Ideally, the Disrupt will block one of the Scarab hits, and you can Vitality Potion for the other hit. Make sure that you also Life Transfer at the end of this pillar. Now on Kezalam, we'll Split Soul right away, pray that you get a Jaspik proc, use Bloat, Death Skulls, and Command Skeleton. 0-tick Soulfire once again, then Soul Sap, Touch of Death. Here, I did a Finger of Death, then Soul Sap to get back up to 5 souls. I did a 5-stack volley and finished off with a tier 90 weapon spec. If there are any adrenaline issues in that last phase, you could try and find a way to fit in a Hydrix Gricko. Maybe that will let you get in a tier 95 spec as well. Now, so long as you see the boss hit 0 HP at a minute 54 on the clock, like in my kill here, you're good to go. It has a 6-second death animation, which was probably the most frustrating thing about going for this kill. I can't tell you how many times I'd be within one ability or two of that 154 target, and when I was watching the timer count up on this kill, I was really biting my nails, seeing that 157, 158, 159, oh please count, and finally 159.4. Beat the goal by just a tick. This definitely wasn't the most consistent speed kill in my opinion. Of course it could be because I'm not as good at the game as some players, but ultimately I got the master time that I was looking for, and I'm sharing that experience here on YouTube. I hope this video was helpful, and I wish you luck on your Kezalam Master grind. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to my channel, as I'll be making videos like this for every Master and Grandmaster speed task in the game. Share this video with a friend, leave me a comment. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.